Hey, what's up guys? Henry here and welcome to another Xbox On sneak preview. Today I'm going to take you through the first 3 chapters of Battletoads, the long-awaited return of everybody's favourite amphibious brawling trio. I've even included the first 5 locations of some of the collectibles so that you don't miss out on grabbing them first try. Don't forget Battletoads is going to be dropping straight into Xbox Game Pass for both console and PC, and you can even get it preloaded right now, letting you get straight into the action when it launches on August 20th. Now, first things first, we're going to be taken through a bit of a tutorial kind of chapter, but it does include the game's first boss fight, so there'll be some tips on how to beat them as quickly as possible. So make sure you watch the rest of the video to get straight to that.
Being a bad guy is great. Cool hideout, fancy hoverboards.
And no one can tell me to wear a shirt. Oh no! It's the mega famous Battletoads, including Zitz, the leader, Pimple, the strong one, and Rash, the sunglasses one.
Don't forget Best Kisser!
Enough talk. It's time to... Best kisser? Why are you the best kisser?
Maybe because I practice on my hand all the time?
That just means you're the best at kissing your hand.
Come on, there's more girls outside.
Yeah.
Now, probably the first thing that you'll notice is the game's signature cartoon style. It's a bit of a departure from the last time we got to see the Battletoads, which was much more of that 8-bit style. Not only that, the humor in the game is constant. It is always going. It's that classic rare style of comedy. It's perfect timing. It is just such a breath of fresh air, honestly. Now, I'll be honest, I did have a little playthrough before I tried it out on this run. There were 3 difficulties that you may have noticed if you've watched the game yourself by the time it's out. This one we're playing on the medium difficulty, or Toad as it's called. And although I seem to be doing pretty well against these rats at the moment, I'm sure that if you were to whack it up to the game's hardest difficulty, that either the combos would be harder to execute, there might be tougher enemies, or they might have more health. But it does become fairly obvious as you keep playing that certain enemy types will have easily telegraphed attacks. So there is, definitely an element of skill and sort of memory and remembering these attack patterns, especially when it comes to boss fights like the one we will see later in the video. And I'll explain all about that when it comes around. I did love how fluid the combat felt, though. You had basically 3 main inputs for your attacks, as well as there being a jump button as well, and then evade. So it all kind of strings together really fluidly. Later in the video, we'll also play around with the other 2 Battletoads, Pimple and Zitz. Right now we're playing with Rash, and you can see at the top of the screen we've got a combo meter that's sitting just below our health, and you can also see I can tag in Pimple or Zitz at any moment I wanted by using the D-pad. Of course, you could play it in up to 3-player couch co-op if you prefer, but it just goes to show how viable the game is if you are playing solo like I am right now. And a nice little achievement there for finishing a fight without taking a lick of damage. Not too bad. Now, there was the second collectible right there. You might have missed it behind the lamppost. Make sure you pick that one up.
Look out!
And here we go, introduced to the first main boss, Porkshank. It's actually a 3-phase fight. So this is just the first time that we'll encounter Porkshank.
No way, Dorkshank!
Or Dorkshank, as we've come to call him. Now, this first phase of Porkshank is, I guess I call him his Brawling Phase, where he signals these telegraphed punching combos, finished off by a sort of finishing move where he kind of not, headbutts you. But you can see he throws up an exclamation mark just before he starts the combo, at which point you can dash behind him and just lay into him with your own. So it's quite a safe distance that you can get. You have plenty of time to read that telegraphed combo. The main problem I find with this fight is that you do have to fend off other enemies as well, which can get a little bit overwhelming if you're not paying too much attention. I would say keep your eyes on Porkshank, just watch for his combo when it's about to start, and then you know when you're safe to attack him or the other enemies around you during the fight. Now, we won't be finishing him off on this run, because he'll be appearing later on. We just need to get him below a certain health threshold, and then we can move on with the rest of the level. And there it goes.
Bye! Is that it?
Guess so.
Look! An instantly gratifying victory ceremony!
Now, one thing you'll probably want to look out for during this video and during your own play when you get to have a go on Battletoads when it launches is that there are tons of little Easter eggs dropped in here, mainly referencing other video games or pop culture, and especially referencing Rare's own back catalogue. So see if you can spot any during the video. Pop it down in the comments below if you manage to find any. You start getting introduced to other enemy types as we're playing in this tutorial as well. I found that the little pigs on the hoverboards are actually kind of tough if you let them overwhelm you. You'll see later on when more enemy types get thrown on screen, but they can become a serious problem if you don't take them out first. Their attack pattern in particular kind of cuts off a huge portion of the screen, so if you're not careful, you can get easily trapped by it. Just like that laser beam attack. It's really tricky to dodge if you're not careful. But they do become gassed if you manage to get them knocked out. At which point I'd recommend just going straight for them like that, clearing them off the pitch. The tongue attack gets used quite a lot in this fight in particular, just for drawing them a bit closer. As you get more comfortable with the combos, you start to remember some that become a bit more, not overused, but perhaps you start to rely on them more. And the game recommends that you try and mix up your combos to maximize your score, which you will be counted up against for every fight to get a grade from C to S grade, S being the best, of course. Okay, so now this is the second fight with Porkshank, and you can see he's already got a different telegraphed attack, where he sort of rears his head and charges you like a bull. Again, it's quite a simple one to focus on. As soon as you see him bend down, he'll be charging up his attack, and at the moment that your character throws up an exclamation mark, that is when you want to basically move out the way, because that's where the final attack is going to happen. So you can see I'm dodging away, and you can see the little lightning bolts that appeared around Rash's head. Oh, sorry, we're playing as Zitz's head. So we're going to see it. Lightning bolts on his head, so I know that he's going to move to that point. I dash out the way, and he's stunned, opened up for a lot of damage. So now I've moved to the top of the screen because I knew he was going to go for the bottom. Again, the big problem here is actually not just keeping an eye on Porkshank, but making sure you're clearing out the enemy ads that surround him during the boss fight. Similarly with the first boss fight with Porkshank, we just need to whittle him down to a certain health, and then we'll be able to move on with the rest of the level. Yeah, I learned the hard way there that you can't jump over the attack. There we go. Second wave done.
What is that pig's problem?
Besides punching too slowly.
Nice one.
if you saw there, that was the 4th collectible of the level. Just at that moment, I decided to bring in Rash, so you can see that swapping between the characters is actually really, really fluid. And if you want to extend your combos, it's probably the best way to do it. So you can just start linking together attacks, keeping the combo meter going, adding to your score, and eventually hopefully getting an S rating for each fight. Finally, we get to see a bit of Pimple. He's kind of the brute of the trio. He deals huge damage, but in very slow attacks. So he's actually quite handy for boss fights if you're in like a sort of damage phase and you want to lay the smackdown. Pimple's probably the best way to go. Whereas Zitz and Rash are a bit better at moving about quicker, stringing together quick yet weaker attacks. There's the last collectible of the chapter. 5, it seems to be the magic number for this. 5 per level. But not every level has collectibles.
Give up, Pork Shank. There's 3 of us and only 1 of you.
Oh yeah? Well, there's still 3 of us.
And now we have the final stage of the Porkshanks boss fight, and it kind of combines both attack patterns that we learned about before. So, the blue Porkshanks will be doing the bull run, whereas the pink Porkshanks will be doing that brawler-style punching combo. So, I would recommend taking out the blue one first, just because he's quite simple, and if you can dodge his attacks, he's very easy to get stunned. But either way really works. You just need to focus on when they start their respective attacks to know when to dodge out of the way of each one. I think in this particular run, I decided to defeat the pink Porkshanks first, mainly because I let the blue Porkshanks get himself stunned by just letting him attack, but dodging it so that he was basically taken out of the fight. It gave me a long period of time where I didn't have to worry about the blue one. As you can see right now, I'm just able to string together so much damage. Down goes the pink Porkshanks. It's that easy. And it becomes an even simpler task now because the blue Porkshanks he's slow, he's easy to attack when he's in that stunned phase. You just keep the damage up, he'll be down in no time. Now you can watch the health below of the Porkshanks boss. This is where Pimple comes in really handy, because he can just wipe him out in a few hits.
And so I finally pass into the afterlife. Wait, there's nothing here. Make the most of the time you have!
Yikes.
I don't think he's coming back this time.
Oh well, sucks to be him. On with the celebration!
Forgot we could fly.
Yep. Everyone loves us, and now we can fly.
The universe revolves around the Battletoads! Chant with me! We are God! We are God! We are God! What the? Cody, cut the work! There's friggin' frogs in here! Who is this guy? Hang tight, Frogs. We're gonna get you out of that bunker.
Bunker?
We are gods! We are... No, not this time. Just me.
And there we have it. That's stage 1 done. And the cool thing about this is you do get a bunch of stats at the end. How long it took you, what difficulty, the collectibles, all the scores you had for the fights as well. So you can always go back and retry it, trying to get a better score, or try and score higher grades on each combat section.
In our hole? Julie Saturn Rings has more.
Thanks, Zerp. Sounds bizarre, but that's exactly what a local construction crew discovered this afternoon.
Yeah, so we was digging, you know, for construction stuff, and I find this bunker with friggin' frogs trapped inside. And I mean, it stinks. So we checked the wiring, and these morons been in there for 26 years living a simulated fantasy life. And I mean, they stink.
26 years in a fantasy bunker? You'd have to be gullible not to figure that one out. So, frogs, how you feeling? Stupid?
We're not frogs. We're toads.
The Battletoads.
We're famous superheroes.
This just in. No, you're not. This has been Julie Saturn Rings asking, what are they going to do now?
Now, something I loved, and I was actually quite surprised about, was the variety in different kind of levels there were. It's not just a side-scroll and beat-em-up, there's also these kind of mini-game sections in between too, just to break up the action a bit. And lend to the humor as well. It's a very self-aware game. The humor style, the comedy to it, all of it, just... it flows so well. And it honestly feels like you're just part of your own Saturday morning cartoon show.
Ugh. And I told him I don't care about games from the 90s. Some things are just meant to stay buried forever.
They just say, assume good intent.
Oh wait, that weird lizard guy is looking.
Yes, that was an actual stage of the game. So there we have a high score. 1.5 million points. Not bad.
What?
Psst, sit. What?
I think we're being robbed.
So? We don't own anything worth stealing.
You're right. I'll go apologize. Knock, knock. Sorry, we're poor. Oh, it's just Rash wearing a diaper.
I solved it!
Solve what?
Come in, brothers. Are we brothers? We never talk about it. Doesn't matter. Take a seat, I'll stand. No. You stand, I'll sit. Everyone stands! Listen, I've been up all night mimicking the methods of TV detectives. Tracking, triangulating, enhance, and I pinpointed the precise location of the Dark Queen.
Could you pinpoint a dumpster and burn that diaper?
This is the Dark Queen we're talking about, remember? She nearly destroyed the galaxy, I think, but we beat her up, which sent her and I want to say spinning into space, and we can do it again. Who's in? Zitz? Pimple, Zitz?
Sorry, Rash. I'm a masseuse now. My fists are for pleasure, not pain.
And I'm lead attacher at the email factory. We're moving on.
Moving on to what? Our sink is busted? The pipes are frozen? There are train tracks in our living room!
No. We have good jobs and a roof over our heads. I'm not ready to get captured again.
Well, I'm not ready to be irrelevant. I'm not ready to live my life as just another toad. But mostly, I'm not certain that I could.
Okay, Rash, we're in. Let's go build you a brand new audience.
You really mean it?
You're damn right I do. Now, where do we find the Dark Queen?
Not where. When.
Time travel?
No, we'll leave when I've cleaned myself up. Then we're renting turbo bikes, baby! Woohoo! Battletoads reboot!
Hey, remember, fellas, these turbo bikes are rentals. You know what that means?
Crash him?
Exactly.
Now we come up to one of the most notoriously tricky parts of the game, and that's the turbo bike section. If you're one of those people that like to do things perfectly, this one might have you pulling some hairs out, I'll be honest. It is good fun, though. But you'll have to be very, very agile to get through it perfectly. As ever, there are also some collectibles here, so keep your eyes peeled for them. notice that every now and then a number appears in the middle of the screen, and that's because I'm getting near misses. So the more near misses you can chain together, the higher a bonus score you'll get, and it will get banked into your main score for the level, which is at the bottom right. Just then we passed over a checkpoint, and every time you hit one of those, you'll regain all the lives of the Battletoads, and if you do happen to fail, it will just send you back to that checkpoint rather than the very start of the level, which is pretty handy.
About you on the galactic internet. They're handsome boys, but they're mean as dirt and itching to embarrass you. Hope it doesn't come to that.
And that's a wipe. But like we said before, you do get checkpoints throughout the levels, so it's not too punishing if you do happen to miss one. It's a good little trick as well. If you happen to miss a collectible during the level, it might actually be worth wiping so that you can just go back to the checkpoint and try and pick it up again. You do need to remember, though, any ones that you did pick up will be reset. So, for instance, I missed one right there. I could just crash and reset the checkpoint to pick it up. Third time's a charm. I managed to get it that time. That's another checkpoint, so any of the lives that I'd lost during that segment has been reinstated.
Oh, I warned you, Toads. Now my beautiful boys are spreading all sorts of lies about you until you return my backs. This is my business model.
He sounds pretty annoyed.
You know what they say.
Don't trust obviously unstable anthropomorphic toads?
Bingo.
Toads. I made my sons delete their posts. The truth is, my business is failing, and if you destroy those turbo bikes, I'm ruined. My sons were too beautiful to learn a real trade. Please, return my bikes. This is Chet from Chet & Sons.
What's he so worried about? The bikes look literally the same as when we started this journey.
Five missed messages. I'll listen to them later.
What is this place?
Looks like the Queen is hiding in an abandoned theme park.
Be careful. It's been years since our last tetanus shot.
So that will just about wrap up the first 3 chapters and even a little peek at chapter 4 of Battletoads. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash like and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any more of our sneak previews in the future. We'll see you next time. Bye!